Well, good morning, good afternoon. My name is Jeremy Courtney. I am the GSA Fleet Innovation Branch Chief, and today I'll be talking about some telematics insights. So thank you all for your time and attending this meeting. We were hopeful that we would be, I would be seeing you all in DC during the actual FedFleet presentation. However, snow decided to put a kink in that. Also, I kind of find it humorous that I introduced myself in the last slide, and yet this is the introduction slide. So this presentation was intended for a live audience. I have some questions I was going to ask, but I'll just put them out there rhetorically, just to kind of get an idea of where you all are at. So first one was, who has a device on them, meaning who has a device with them or something similar, a cell phone, a Fitbit watch, or whatever there is. Pretty much all of us carry at least one, probably with our work. We carry maybe even two. And it's just an idea of how much technology continues to impact our lives. Now, who has a library card in them, with them, or on their, like myself, my library card, my login is actually on my phone. The actual card itself is probably in some desk drawer at my house that I can't find. Over the weekend, my wife and I were cleaning out some of our stuff. We just remodeled our kitchen, and I came across a Blockbuster video membership card. Still had my name on it. And I showed it to my kids who are 11 and 14, and they looked at me and they said, "What's Blockbuster?" And I found out doing some research that I actually could still use it. There is a Blockbuster open in Bend, Oregon. And you go there and you can still rent the videos and do all that stuff. But my kids have no concept of what that is. Again, they're 11 and 14, and that's how technology has advanced so much. So we've used so much of the stuff. We used to go places to get information, such as the library, but now we don't have to. We can use our phones. There's so much information there. And also, when does the data become too much? My presentation, it's scheduled for 50 minutes. I really have no intention of speaking that long, but it could be. But in 50 minutes, roughly 25,000 hours of video content will be uploaded to YouTube. So that's 2.85 years of video content. So each minute, roughly 500 hours of video content is uploaded. Our work year is 2,080 hours. So in the minute I've been talking about this, if you only watch the video that had been uploaded in this time frame, and you did it on work hours, which I'm not recommending, you'd be watching videos from now until June. So what is too much? So again, I mentioned the Fitbits, the Apple Watches, gives you some information about your health, your data, your number of steps, that sort of thing. But what actionable items are you taking away from those sorts of things? And that's kind of where I want to go with these. So for us, our overview is going to be focusing on how GSA is improving telematics. Now, for those who don't know, telematics, it's information from the vehicle that we get through automation, and it provides the vehicle history or the vehicle, what's happening with the vehicle. But we're going to also go through some of the pain points and common challenges, such as delayed device to VIN association, odometer readings, and some manual processes. We'll go over data sharing, automation, end-to-end workflow. And we'll also review the device reporting and outreach and explain how reporting status is monitored, how we're tracking it, and how we handle it within gsafleet.gov.
Jeremy, I'm not sure what happened, but you're on mute. We cannot hear you, Jeremy. I don't know where you went. It says you're on mute, and I cannot unmute you. Can you unmute yourself in in Zoom? Give us a moment, everyone, while we get Jeremy back. Shane, can you speak? You're not muted. Just want to make sure we can hear you if you are unmuted.
I am unmuted. Can you hear me?
Okay, we can. We just can't hear Jeremy.
Let me try and chat him.
His little microphone is red, so I don't know if he has to do it in Zoom or if it's on his computer. Oh, he's back. We can hear you,
right.
Jeremy.
Lovely. No idea why that happened. No idea when it happened. So, all right. So pain points, technology. Let me go back to actually where I was at, where it started to be. So my screen good?
Yes, we can see.
Okay. So pain points. Yeah, reliance on technology. You never are quite sure when those things will happen because this had worked great for the last 20 minutes we were doing this, and then all of a sudden it decides to mute me. Lovely. Anyhow, so some of the pain points that you can that we're going to go over is delayed device to VIN association. It's when a device is installed but does not immediately connect to a specific vehicle, and it can create some confusion about whether the device is working or even installed. We're going to touch on how this can occur and what steps need to happen to ensure the association is established. The odometer readings. When an odometer is not being reported by the telematics device, it causes a lot of headaches around mileage accuracy and can make it difficult to rely on the telematics data. We'll touch on common reasons why this can happen and what to look for when reporting odometer is delayed or missing. Asset visibility in My GeoTab. Customer agencies often expect to see vehicles or devices in their My GeoTab databases and may not. When assets are not visible as expected, it also can cause confusion around device status and data availability. We'll discuss why assets may not appear right away and what factors can affect that. And then manual time-sensitive processes. Many of our telematics-related processes still rely on manual effort and follow-up. These activities can slow down issue resolution and can increase workload as the program grows. We'll discuss where these manual steps exist today and how they create challenges. So data sharing. So this slide shows how telematics data sharing works from start to finish. Each step needs to occur before the data can be shared. So first is the device gets installed and communicating. It must be installed. Installation alone is not enough. It must power on and successfully send the data. VIN identification. First and most important data point we are waiting for is the VIN of the vehicle in which the device was installed. When we order these devices, they are not agnostic to that VIN. Once they get installed, they latch to that VIN, and that's when it starts. So once it does get latched, it'll officially associate with the vehicle. This link is created in the My GeoTab portal and then reflected in gsafleet.gov. At this point, the system knows which device belongs to which vehicle. Next, the agency assigned to the asset is determined. Based upon this assignment, including an agency, bureau, and BOAC, the device is added to the appropriate My GeoTab customer database via the API. And finally, the data sharing. Once the device has been added to the customer's database, it is shared automatically through our system. Telematics data then becomes visible in My GeoTab and can be used for reporting, billing, and operational insights. So data sharing automation that makes the process simpler, faster, and more reliable. It can remove many of the manual steps. Tasks that once required emails, follow-ups, and individual requests now happen automatically. It improves the data quality by ensuring data is only shared once the right conditions are met, helping prevent incomplete or incorrect information from appearing in customer systems. The automation ensures devices are properly linked to correct vehicles before any data is shared. And it creates an end-to-end audit trail, making it easy to see what happened, when it happened, and where delays may have occurred. Automation strengthens accountability by clearly showing when action is needed and by whom. And by reducing the manual work and follow-up, automation lowers overall workload and allows teams to focus more on supporting customers and using the data rather than tracking it down. So now device reporting and outreach. So this gives a breakdown of all the devices we currently have. It shows how we track when the telematics device is last reported and how we use that. I say the date on this is December 17th. That's when our slides were due for the initial FedFleet. So this is a little out of date. I'll touch on what the actual numbers are later on. But on the left, the table groups, they're grouped into reporting buckets on how long it has been since the device last reported mileage. As you can see, most of the vehicles report regularly within the last 30 days, which is where we want them to be. The remaining buckets help us identify vehicles that are reporting late, reporting inconsistently, or not even reporting at all. This can include several vehicles or several devices that haven't reported months or may have never reported. On the right side is the purpose of this approach. These buckets allow us to automatically target outreach based on vehicles reporting status instead of using one-size-fits-all messaging. By grouping the vehicles, we've started an email campaign and a cadence where we can quickly spot reporting gaps, focus attention on these vehicles that need action, and avoid any unnecessary follow-ups for vehicles that are working as expected. And this gives you all, the customers, clear visibility into which vehicles may need to be driven, checked for installation issues, or reviewed for other reporting problems. So we've started this a few months back. We have received quite a bit of responses, some of which have been, hey, we only use them seasonally, and we've marked those, so hopefully you're not getting additional emails for those. But it also has really helped. We've had some positive feedback saying I really appreciate this as a fleet manager to allow me to identify the vehicles that may have issues, what we need to do to troubleshoot them and to get them back working. So again, the approach helps us identify and resolve issues more quickly. And by seeing when devices last reported, problems stand out right away instead of being discovered weeks or months later. It provides clear visibility into at-risk assets, making it easy to see which vehicles may need to be driven, checked on, or followed up. And by catching the issues early, it reduces the number of inactive or improperly reporting devices and helps prevent long gaps in mileage reporting. It also supports more timely customer engagement, and the outreach is targeted based upon the actual reporting status. So overall, this idea led to better data quality and stronger compliance, ensuring mileage data is accurate, and also the information is flowing to the MyGeotab system for better insights for you all. So retrofits and some of the outreach we're doing on those. So retrofit status, is your ordered device installed? So this slide will explain how GSA is improving visibility and follow-up for retrofit devices that have been ordered but not yet installed. The first purpose is monitoring. Our system tracks retrofit devices that have been ordered and shipped but have not yet been installed or begun reporting. This review is performed on a monthly basis to ensure status remains current. Second, the process automated reminders and escalation notices. These communications are sent monthly based upon device installation and reported status, instead of relying on ad hoc or manual follow-ups. Third, the system identifies devices that have exceeded the 180-day non-reporting threshold. These cases are flagged during the monthly review cycle so they can be escalated and addressed, becoming long-term data gaps. And finally, the approach sets clear expectations for customer action and accountability. Agencies receive consistent recurring outreach that explains required actions, timelines, and next steps if installation has not occurred. So the key takeaway is that monthly automated outreach replaces the manual follow-up with a structured process that improves installation rates, data quality, and accountability. And for us, what this does is you guys are requesting a retrofit device. We're processing the order, we're shipping it out, and now we're just trying to ensure that it gets installed. We know some of the locations that these devices get on and where their vehicle missions require them to go are very remote, and we understand that. We also want to make sure that nothing slips through the cracks. So say a customer orders 5 devices, only 4 get installed. We get a response back from Geotab saying that, hey, 4 had been completed, 1 was not available for whatever reason. Prior months, this would have slipped through the cracks because it would have come through as a completed PO. However, it was only 80% complete. So this allows us to target each individual serial number and address what needs to be done to ensure that we're fulfilling the order. So now, is your order device installed? And this slide highlights the benefits of automating retrofit status monitoring outreach. First, the agencies will receive clear and timely notifications. Outreach is sent on a monthly basis, ensuring agencies are regularly informed when ordered devices have not yet been installed or are not reporting. It also helps us reduce the backlog of uninstalled or inactive devices. Monthly reminders and escalations help keep installations from falling through the cracks, just as I used in the previous example. Third, the automation improves compliance by reinforcing installation expectations and timelines in a consistent, repeatable way. We've created these buckets to ensure that the communication is the same and what needs to be done. Fourth, the process increases transparency around the installation timeframes. Customer agencies have better visibility into how long a device has been uninstalled and when action is required. And finally, automation significantly reduces the manual tracking and follow-up workload. Monthly system-generated communications replace ad hoc emails, spreadsheets, and one-off outreach. Key takeaway is that the consistent monthly outreach improves installation outcomes while reducing manual effort for both agencies, GSA, and Geotab. So, some of the frequently asked questions we get on these. So, when is the odometer reported? For us, the Telematics odometer is captured automatically when the device is installed and communicating. Odometer data is updated regularly in gsafleet.gov and is visible in the Telematics tab once reporting begins. It is also visible in the My Geo tab. For billing purposes, the engine odometer is pulled on the 19th of each month or the last day of the month if the 19th falls after month end. So what can prevent the Telematics odometer from reporting in gsafleet.gov? Well, there are several factors that can do that. One, the device is not installed or powered on. The vehicle has not been driven since installation. The device is not successfully latched to a VIN. Could be some power or wiring issues, or the vehicle or device is in sleep or inactive state. As I shared earlier, we had a customer come back and say, hey, our vehicles don't operate during these 3 months of the winter. We mark those. We're not going to get a mileage update on those until the vehicles are turned back on and move. Can the odometer be reported manually? Yeah, it can. You guys can manually report the mileage after the 20th of each month. So there's that window between when it's pulled on the 19th to the end of the month. If telematics was not accepted via the device, you guys can go in and manually update gsafleet.gov and report your mileage. So why is my device not visible in my Geotab? Well, a device may not be visible in my Geotab if the device has not been powered on or communicated, the VIN has not been identified or confirmed, or a very common one, the device has not been added to the customer database. Devices only appear in my Geotab after all those required steps and data sharing is established. And where do I go for assistance if I have any of these or any other issue? We're going to touch on those in the next couple of slides. So the first one, the Geotab GSA support portal. So this is the primary support or location that you should go for technical issues. This slide explains the pathway for telematics related technical issues. The Geotab portal is designed to remove the middleman. Previously, you guys have been emailing either the Fleet Solutions box and then you've been emailing Geotab. This is supposed to remove it where it's a portal and it's the primary support channel for any of these issues, including device installation, non-reporting devices, and troubleshooting questions. It also provides a single centralized location for troubleshooting and support, and all the relevant details are captured up front, which helps reduce back and forth between the customer and Geotab to speed up the resolution. Finally, the portal allows agencies to submit, track, and manage support requests in one place. Requests are logged, monitored, and worked through to completion, providing transparency and accountability throughout the process. The support portal streamlines technical support by providing a direct, centralized, and trackable way to resolve telematics issues. This slide highlights the benefits of using the support portal as the primary channel. The portal provides real-time visibility into ticket status. Agencies can see where their request stands at any time, including whether action is needed on their end. All communication is captured in one place. The portal maintains a complete message and attachment history, which reduces repeat questions and ensures everyone is working from the same information. Portal offers a centralized view of all support requests. Agencies can track multiple issues across vehicles or devices without relying on emails or separate tracking tools. And finally, this approach leads to faster issue resolution and follow-up. With complete information, clear ownership, and status visibility, issues move through the support process more efficiently. Again, the key takeaway, the support portal improves transparency, accountability, and resolution speed by providing a single trackable support experience. Another area you can go for resolution of other issues is our shared GSA inbox, fleetsolutions@gsa.gov. Again, this is just a primary support for some of the customer questions. It can be for general inquiries related to the telematics program. Please reach out to our team at fleetsolutions@gsa.gov. While we may not be able to resolve your issues directly, we can assist with determining who can. We can connect you to the right people to get your issue resolved quickly, whether that's the Geotab support team, someone at your agency who has my admin access in my Geotab, or our team ourselves. The GSA Fleet Solutions team still handles all requests related to retrofit device ordering, marshal ordering, telematics exemption requests, database assignments, and device termination requests. Our team currently is consisting of 8 people, and we handle requests from customers nationwide, all within the Fleet Solutions box. Data utilization. So this slide shifts conversation from installation and support to how the agencies can actually use their telematics data once devices are reporting. What I've displayed on this slide is a print screen from the dashboard in my Geotab. It's often underutilized after installation. Many agencies focus on getting the device installed, but don't always take full advantage of what the data provides. In here, I put that the computer lab is designed, which should have been updated, so I apologize for that. We had a computer lab on site. We could walk you through all of these different areas in my Geotab. If after this presentation you are unclear on all the different areas in my Geotab, we can set you up with a trainer from Geotab to walk you through what's available and how to use those. But the goal of this is to provide visibility into driver behavior and vehicle usage patterns, and allow agencies to better understand how vehicles are being used across their fleet. The ultimate goal is to improve safety, oversight, and operational efficiency. By using telematics data effectively, agencies can reduce risk, improve compliance, and make more informed fleet management decisions. So device ordering. We're pretty excited here at GSA. We've been doing a lot of development on ordering. Kind of describes how it will work once it's fully implemented in GSAFleet.gov. And I'll also touch on how it was done. So once implemented, the system will automate device eligibility, approvals, ordering, and tracking, eliminating the spreadsheet requests and reducing the manual coordination. Right now, we currently send a Google Sheet asking for vehicle information, shipping, point of contact, VIN. We're nearing the process where that will be in, and we'll be able to do it inside of GSAFleet.gov. With that, there would be required validations and approvals, and they'll be handled automatically. This will include checking telematics exemption statuses, confirming whether a device is already installed on the vehicle, validating replacement eligibility dates, because we don't want to request a device for a vehicle that has already been ordered against and due to arrive within 3 months. And these automated checks will ensure only appropriate vehicles move forward in the ordering process. After validation, device orders will be submitted directly within gsafleet.gov. And again, this will remove the need for separate ordering tools, emails, or offline tracking. And agencies will also have full visibility into the order lifecycle. Order status, shipping details, and tracking information will be available in one place, providing transparency from order submission through delivery. And the key takeaway is this automation is going to simplify the device ordering, improve the accuracy, and provide a consistent end-to-end process for customer agencies and for GSA. So device automation, ordering, benefits. Automation is going to eliminate the need for manual asset identification and spreadsheet-based submissions. Agencies will no longer have to track eligibility, approvals, or orders outside of gsafleet.gov. Second, the system is going to apply consistent system-driven eligibility rules. Every order is evaluated using the same criteria, which will reduce variation and ensure policy is applied uniformly. Third, the automation is going to reduce incorrect or duplicate device orders. We have had times ordered multiple devices for the same vehicle because a retrofit order has gone out, it hadn't been installed within 180 days, another retrofit request came in, we shipped another device out. It's happened. So fourth, the process improves transparency. The order status, decisions, and validations are visible in the system, making it easier to understand what happened and why. And with most things, automation will streamline coordination across GSA, Geotab, and customer agencies. It'll be a shared workflow, fewer handoffs are required, and issues can be identified and resolved more quickly. So, time for some fun facts. Again, this was going to be better in person. However, I'll just kind of pause as I walk through a few of these. So, total number of GSA leased vehicles with telematics. As I mentioned earlier on a slide, it was from, I believe, December 17th. It was outdated, but that's when these slides were originally due, and I didn't go back and update it. I think I want to say it had 137,000 devices. Well, that number as of actually today is from March 4th, 154,851. Percentage of GSA leased vehicles with telematics communicating within the past 30 days. On that slide, it was about 88%. Don't remember what the total number was, but today it is over 90%. We're almost at 91%. It is 90.94%. Which is 140,827 devices have communicated within the last 30 days. Love to see that continue to climb, and that is our goal, is to get that ideally as close to 100% as we can. Number of stolen GSA leased vehicles recovered since October 1, 2025. This is one of my favorite parts of our program, and I deem it asset recovery. That's not a name that I've actually chosen. It was one that was shared with me. So as you all know, with telematics devices installed, there is a GPS component. GSA does not have access to this information. However, when a customer agency comes to us and says our vehicle has been stolen, it has telematics in it, we get written authorization from the customer agency to allow Geotab to pull the GPS information and share it with GSA. We do that, and we get these really cool Google Maps of exactly where the vehicle last reported or where the last signal was taken from. Since October 1st of 2025, we've had 19 vehicles recovered. In fact, as recently as this past Monday, we had a vehicle that was identified stolen, contacted Geotab with the customer authorization saying we could get the data. They provided it to us. We shared it with the customer, and they were able to, working with the local police department, recover the vehicle before it was sent to a tow yard and impounded. So, love asset recovery. Number of agency-owned vehicles that have ordered telematics as a service through gsafleet.gov. Well, this is a GSA lease program. That's what we do. but it is one of the areas that we are starting to expand on, and it is our first managed service that we are offering. It is telematics as a service, and we are beginning to, it was originally going to be announced at FedFleet. However, it's 6 weeks later, so we've already shared with some customer agencies. There was a notification sent out by our director, also as well to the HQ levels. But we've had 2 separate agencies place orders through gsafleet.gov to get telematics on their agency-owned vehicles. Very first was installed in January to ensure that everything was running smoothly. And then as of this morning, we had a call with the customer agency to begin the process of getting their vehicles, their agency-owned vehicles, retrofit. We walked them through the ordering process. We watched them successfully process 2 orders for 2 vehicles. And since then, we've seen that they've processed 6 more orders today, and there are already 30 plus vehicles, 30 plus devices ordered for them. And so we're just very excited about this new opportunity for agency-owned vehicles to get telematics through gsafleet.gov. So, yeah, to segue into telematics as a service. So telematics as a service, agency-owned. This slide introduces how GSA is evolving telematics into a managed end-to-end service rather than a collection of disconnected tasks. Telematics as a service means GSA is taking a more active role in managing the full life cycle from device ordering and installation to reporting, outreach, support, and data utilization. Automation is a core part of this that's going to make it possible to scale. As highlighted through this session, GSA's automation efforts using gsafleet.gov and with the assistance of GeoTab has improved the data quality by reducing manual handling and applying consistent system rules across the program. We've established workflows to strengthen accountability and visibility. Agencies know what to expect, when action is required, and where to go for support, while GSA can more effectively monitor and manage the program. We've created targeted outreach to play a crucial role in the service model. We have automated recurring communication that help drive timely customer action and prevent issues from lingering. And telematics as a service is not static. We're continuously analyzing program data, seeking customer feedback, and discussing operational outcomes to identify improvements and to evolve the program over time. So this is the first of many that we hope managed services that we will be offering. It is currently live. There are certain steps that need to occur before your agency can utilize this. However, if you're interested, please reach out to fleetsolutions@gsa.gov. Let us know. Yeah, just share with us. We can meet with you individually, and we're happy to do so. So, some of the key takeaways. Yeah, automation. We're doing a lot of good stuff in innovation, whether it be the telematics, whether it's the telematics as a service, the email cadence, the customer interaction, the support portal, a lot of good things happening. One of the big ones, automation efforts. Again, it's improving data quality, it's reducing the manual processes, and it's applying a consistent system rules. Data becomes more accurate, reliable, and easier to trust and use. We've established workflows to strengthen accountability and visibility, whether it be in the device ordering, the retrofit tracking, or support request. We have clear processes to ensure everyone understands the role, their status, and next steps. We've created some targeted outreach to drive timely customer action. Our automated recurring communications help agencies know exactly when action is required and to reduce delays caused by missed or unclear follow-ups. And finally, we're continuously analyzing and evolving the program, looking at feedback, data trends, and operational insights, and we're actively using those to identify gaps and implement improvements over time. So again, automation, clear workflows, data-driven outreach, and just working together to improve program performance today while positioning the telematics program for improvements moving forward. So with that, As long as I'm still not on mute, I will open it up to any questions that may be in the queue that haven't been answered, or if anyone has anything they'd like to share.
Hey, Jeremy. Sorry, this Shane Hamilton. There are a few questions in there. I can read through them if you want, and we can answer them live.
That would be great. Please do.
I tried to get to most of them, but some I was not able to get to. So the first one, which I think would be helpful to answer live anyway, is what is the cost per vehicle for ordering and implementing Geotab?
I'm assuming this means, well, I'll handle it both ways. For the GSA lease vehicles, there is no additional cost. It is actually already covered in your monthly rates. So if it's a retrofit order, please just submit it to the GSA, the fleet solutions at gsa.gov, and we will help you process that order. For the telematics as a service for agency owned vehicles, there is a monthly fee. It is $15.50 per month per vehicle. And then there is an installation fee of $75. And that's a one-time charge. Those get billed at the time of installation. And those are the current rates of what it would be for telematics as a service.
All right. Next one is, our vehicles in California are the only ones without telematics. Is there a reason for this?
I would need more information on that. I do not believe there should be any reason for that. There was some issues with Geotab and Carb that were resolved probably 18 months ago. And so if you would please send myself or the Fleet Solutions box some additional information, we will definitely look into that.
All right. Yeah, that was going to be what I thought too, Jeremy, because there was that while where we stopped, I think, for a little while.
There was some issues between Geotab. Just it wasn't Geotab and Carb. It was Carb did not want any third party device into the OBD2 because of their emissions and compliance.
All right. Let's see. Next one. Can the telematics be billed yearly or as a contract?
So our current offering in actually how federal contracts work is we usually cannot pay for subscriptions. So we pay for a service as it's being used. So we bill monthly. It would come across in your very similar as a different line item in your lease bill. So no, we cannot do an annual payment for that. It would be a per vehicle per month service rate for the subscription and then the one-time installation.
Okay. Next one, is telematics supposed to come installed in lease vehicles already? I had read something about this. Also, if the vehicle has a factory set telematics, do we send the activation request to the fleet solutions at gsa.gov?
That's a fantastic question. Is telematics supposed to be? Yes, our GSA would like to have telematics on all of our leased vehicles when an exemption is not in place. However, some of those do slip through the cracks. We have times where a vehicle shows up, it gets picked up prior to a retrofit being installed, or it gets picked up and the OEM wasn't activated. So if you did pick one up and it does not currently have telematics, please reach out to us. Let us know what it is. If it has OEM on it, we will do our best to activate it. If it does not have an OEM capability, we can request a retrofit and we can either send it out to you guys and do a self-install, or we can have you guys take it to the nearest marshalling location and they can perform a professional install to get telematics on that leased asset.
All right, looks like there's two more now, Jeremy. Let's see, first one. I understand that it would be, oh, maybe this is a response to a response that I sent, but yeah, maybe we'll skip over that one. Okay. Next question. I've tried several dealers and cannot get the geotab installed in agency-owned vehicles. Where can I find vendors to get them installed?
Reach out to us and we can work with Geotab to see their professional, because they subcontract their installation network. So we can, please send us an email with the specifics of that, and we can see what we can do to help get the device installed for you.
Okay, next one. Where is the telematics usually installed in the GSA lease vehicles? Is there a way for us to remove it on our own to make sure it's turned on and registered?
So remove it to make sure it's turned on and registered. I would rather have you look in gsafleet.gov under the telematics page to ensure that it was there and you can see when it last communicated, rather than you going through the process of trying to find it and see if it's installed appropriately. It depends on the manufacturer and the model of the vehicle of where it's actually going to be located. However, the device itself plugs into the OBD2 port that is usually somewhere around the dash by the steering column, and it will be behind, and then it should be zip tied in there. So that is the location of where they go. But again, if you have questions on whether or not your device is working, please either go to my Geotab and look, or go to gsafleet.gov and look, or to reach out to our Fleet Solutions box, and we can help work you through to see if the device is communicating.
Okay, next question. We were told that with our GSA lease vehicles, they do not track the vehicle's location. If we wanted to track, would this require a separate subscription?
Agencies have access to their GPS information should they choose. GSA does not have access to the GPS information, even on GSA lease vehicles. So you all can do that. Geotab can provide training in those. You guys can have geofencing. You guys have speed alerts. You guys can set up those things if you want. It's included in the Pro Plus subscription. So the customer agency can, if you share with us additional information, we can set you up with Geotab, and they can walk you guys through some of the training of all the different things you can do in my Geotab.
All right. We would like clarification. I was informed that for some make and models like Ford, the onboard computer is being used and no telematics will be on board.
That I would need some additional information on as well. Ford is one of our OEM partners, and we do use Ford OEM Telematics. Shane, you were going to say something.
No, yeah, I was just going to say, I think they were just asking, how it would be decided on whether, or maybe that was down the road. I just already put the question in there. But essentially for our Ford models, Stellantis, which is currently Hyundai, and then GMC GMC, we will try and activate OEM. We do have some agencies who have requested to have the physical device opposed to the OEM, but our idea is if OEM is available, then we will try and activate that opposed to a physical device. Next question, Jeremy. What determines if a new GSA vehicle receives OEM or Geotab telematics?
It depends on the customer agency. As Shane just said, there are a couple of customers that request Go9s because of the additional devices they like to use, and also the additional data that they can get via the Go9. However, if it's easier for everyone involved if we activate OEM, because it doesn't require a physical device to then be installed. Our goal, though, is to have telematics in all of our vehicles that we lease. So preferred OEM if possible, if not, Go9 installation.
Next question. When ordering the telematics devices for my agency-owned vehicles, will it have to be ordered one by one, or can I bulk order via an Excel bin list?
So the requirements are the vehicles must be in gsafleet.gov. They must have a BOAC associated with them in wallets. And you can order multiple vehicles on one order, up to 100 if those vehicles are going to be shipped to the same location. It is not a bulk upload Excel spreadsheet. However, you filter out the vehicles. You can do it by point of contact. You can do it by BOAC. There's a lot of different filters. And then you just check a box, and these are the vehicles that you select that you want to order. Now, until you get that user role, you can't even see the managed services option in there. So if you're interested, please reach out. We can work with you to get you established in the system, and then we can work you through the first couple of orders.
We have a decent amount of questions left, and we'll try and get through them all. But Jeremy, I'm going to pick some of the ones that I think will be helpful to answer live here.
Okay.
Next one is, we constantly have one or two vehicles that keep dropping out from underneath the dash and become disconnected. I've had to instruct POCs on how to reconnect and try to put under the dash. How can we get this to stop happening?
That's unfortunate, and I'm sorry to hear about that experience. We should get a professional installer to come out and ensure that the device itself is secured. It can be a challenge. There are some locations and some missions where things will shake loose over time. However, that should not be occurring. So please provide your information, and we will see what we can do to ensure that this no longer happens.
Next question. Will leased and owned be on the same BOAC, separate BOAC, or a subset of the leased BOAC? And how do you I can't even say that. Sorry. How do you decide between leased and owned for billing if they are on the same BOAC?
So they can be on the same BOAC. They can be on a different BOAC. It depends on how you're going to, as a customer, how you're going to set up the association in gsafleet.gov. So when you go to your agency owned, it's in gsafleet.gov and wallet, you have to select a BOAC for that vehicle. GSA needs an appropriate line of accounting to bill that to. When it comes across in the bill, it will be on its own separate line item. It will be an agency owned telematics service fee for that vehicle. So again, it can be on the same BOAC if that's what you select. It can be on a different BOAC if that's what you select. So there's flexibility there.
Next one, for clarification, the cost of telematics is included in the GSA lease amount, and Pro Plus is not a thing anymore, correct?
Pro Plus is part of it. There is no additional fee. All of the telematics subscriptions in GSA leased are Pro Plus.
Okay. Have vehicle users that want to track vehicles. They are responsible. Yeah, no, I'm not sure. That question doesn't make a lot of sense, but I'll go to the next one. Can the battery be replaced in the Go9 device by the end user?
I prefer no.
Yeah.
I don't want customers trying to tap into the devices and break them apart and replace things. So no, and the device itself is plugged in and does take a little bit of a charge. So I'm also kind of confused if batteries are a part of the Go9 itself. But no, we shouldn't be. I don't know.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah. Next question. I have vehicle users that want to track their vehicles they are responsible for. Can a fleet manager grant access to them to track their specific vehicles? Basically, I think what the question is asking is can they grant access to other users to track their vehicles in my geotab? And the answer to that is absolutely yes. Yeah. Is there a requirement to go and dismiss events in geotab? Not really sure what.
The only thing I can think of is if your vehicle if you turn in a vehicle to dismiss, I mean, it's best to put it into the archive so it's no longer there. It's not showing active in your database. But I don't know what that dismiss events means unless there's like speeding. But GSA doesn't, we're not here to enforce the use of the vehicles. So if you have set things set up like speed monitoring or geofencing, that's on the customer agency to do.
Okay. Our vehicle fleet ranges from light duty trucks to heavy duty crane trucks. Is there any vehicle that Geotab will not work with?
There are, it probably exists. There probably is a vehicle. We have certain requirements for the harness ID lookups that we perform on each of the vehicles. Geotab itself offers other asset tracker information, whether it's called a Go Rugged or a Go Anywhere. Those are not items that GSA currently offers through this. We are doing just Go 9s right now. But if you're interested, we can always connect you with them and you can have that conversation on for other equipment.
Yeah, I would say the main exception is probably for very old vehicles. We were just at Geotab Connect, and I know USPS has some old vehicles where it's not 100% compatible with. But yeah, I think Jeremy's right. Generally, I think the Geotab devices do work with most vehicles across the fleet. Okay. In the event that telematics devices remain uninstalled once the installer departs, can fleet managers and users self-install the devices following the Geotab self-install tutorial videos?
Yeah, that is an option.
All right. Next one. From my understanding, the Geotab Go requires cell service to sync data. A lot of our fleet vehicles are outside of cell coverage for long periods of time. I noticed there is another device designed for off-grid, Go Anywhere Plus. My question is, if there is a Starlink in the vehicle, can the normal device connect through Starlink system to maintain tracking? That one we might have to kind of look into, I think,
Yeah,
just to get,
there's a lot of technical in there.
yeah.
The Go devices will maintain quite a bit of information. I forgot how many days that they will store the information until they get back into cell range, and then they will process it. But there are other things. So we'll take that one and we will get back to you on that just to ensure that we're providing the most accurate response.
Yeah. All right. Maybe this will be the last one. Let's see. Besides the OB2 plugin, is there a picture of the whole system that needs to be installed? I'm sure we can provide some documentation on that. It looks like customers just requesting visuals, I guess, Jeremy. So we can definitely get back on that.
Yeah.
We have 2 minutes, maybe one more. Can GSA and Geotab host a joint basic training to understand, navigate the Geotab's application itself? Not sure if this is available on GSA's YouTube channel already. I can answer that, Jeremy, real quick. So one thing I can say for certain, Geotab is very willing and they do provide exceptional training. So for anyone who would like to get some training on the Geotab UI, my Geotab itself, we can definitely set that up. I would just recommend sending a request to our fleet solutions at gsa.gov inbox. But yeah, they do give trainings and are more willing to do that.
All right.
I think we're at time, Jeremy.
Okay. Well, again, I just want to thank you all for attending this session. I hope there was some useful information you got. I hope if you've, at a minimum, you feel comfortable to reach out to us at Fleet Solutions at gsa.gov to, if we didn't fully answer your questions. We want to make sure that we're providing the service and the information that you guys need to effectively manage your fleet. So again, thank you for your time. Appreciate you all and look forward to hearing from several of you soon. Have a great
Thanks,
afternoon.
Jeremy. And Yeah, thanks, Jeremy and Shane. Thank you all for attending today's Telematics Insights session. At the last session of Virtual FedFleet 2026, this recording will be posted to the GSA YouTube channel in a few weeks. You'll receive an email once the recordings have been posted, and the slides will not be posted, just the recording. Please check your FAI account in a few days to check if your CLPs have been applied, and then you'll also receive an email with an attendance certificate. Please, if you have a CFAT account, do not try to submit your attendance certificate. That just causes duplication and problems. So we appreciate that. And then thanks again for attending Virtual FedFleet 2026. We hope to see you again live and in person in 2027. So thanks everyone and enjoy the rest of your afternoon.